Hello everyone, welcome to the Household Logistics YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to share with you what I hope will be a source of encouragement and practical ideas for those that are looking at being home educators. When it comes to homeschooling your children, the first point that I would choose to share with you is that as a full-time home educator, you need to pace yourself. For those of us that are homeschooling our children, we are often not only juggling homeschooling our children, but alongside that, yes, we are often also parenting our children and also fulfilling work commitments. When it comes to being a home educator, it is very important that you pace yourself for health and well-being. It is important as part of looking out for the day-to-day care and education of your children that you also look after and provide self-care for yourself. Homeschooling is different from our child or children going down the road to a conventional education provider. So the expectations on ourselves and on the child in front of us have to be different. You will find that it takes some time to work out what is the best pace and rhythm and routine for you and the child in front of you. Unlike the school system that's perhaps being applied down the road at the local school, you do not have to do homeschooling on a 9 till 3 schedule. Take time to discover what is the best routine for you and your child. It has been my experience as a home educator now for over 10 years that each child will in time teach you what is their most receptive learning time. You might find that for you and your child that their optimum learning time is from in the morning to lunchtime, or perhaps it is that the optimum learning time that works for your child and for you is in the afternoon or in the early evening. The beauty of homeschooling is that you can pace the learning experience that you have with your child daily and weekly according to what is the best pace for yourself and also your child. The second point that I would share with you as a practical hint and tip is delegate. We often find as home educators that we think we've now got to be everything to everybody. And that is actually not how it works out. It is important as a home educator to use delegation. Delegation is a gift to you in terms of your own health and well-being, and also making the most of the immediate and wider group of people that are part of the community and the village of people that are part of your child's life. Because home education is really a lifestyle, and your classroom is also, for the most part, your home, you are going to find that perhaps you have to shift your ideals in terms of how the house is organised and when chores and household activities are able to be done. It is good to delegate. Discuss with your spouse or partner how you, between the two of you, can better share the load of still running the home, plus also catering for this new step that you're taking as being a full-time educator, just one that happens to be based for the most part within the confines of the family home. From the time that my children were even preschoolers, I chose to include them in what were chores and household activities and needs that they could be involved in according to their developmental ability. A young child can help put cutlery out and set a table. An older child, if they can reach and have the motor skills and the cognitive skills to start helping load and unload the dishwasher or putting laundry in and out of the washing machine, those are still all part of what can be embraced as part of your homeschool learning, because it's life learning. So the second tip that I would offer to you in this video is delegate. You don't have to be the person that carries really a superhuman level of responsibility. Delegate so that the load is shared in greater proportion according to who else is available to help you achieve what needs to be done each and every day. The third point that I would share with you in this video is embrace your new lifestyle. Homeschooling is a lifestyle, and that has certainly been what has been proven to be the truth of homeschooling my own children. Homeschooling often involves one of the parents and caregivers foregoing full-time income earning. So that can mean that there has to be an adjustment with lifestyle. You may not be able to keep up with the Joneses, perhaps as you once hoped you would. Homeschooling is a lifestyle, and it is a lifestyle because you are not going to necessarily be doing what the family next door are doing about getting people to and from a conventional schooling centre. You can choose to carry out your day according to a daily program and timetable and routine that works best for you and your child. Often too, when you become a full-time home educator and homeschooling becomes part and parcel of your household experience, your circle of friends and contacts also will alter and change. The beauty of homeschooling, particularly here in New Zealand, is that there are often really wonderful local community networks that you can be part of. Make the most of your local home education network. You might find there is a group of people that have a private lending library as part of your local homeschool network. Make the most of getting to know your community and making the most of what is going to really be a new lifestyle. The fourth point that I would share with you, if you are looking to be a homeschooler or you are just starting on this new adventure, is sometimes we as adults, particularly if we have gone through the conventional schooling system, is we need to de-school. We need to de-school. We need to adapt and open our mindset and thinking to the fact that home education means that we don't have to do schooling and learning and teaching and education in any measure like what is being done down the road in the local school. Homeschooling, in my experience with the diverse range of fellow homeschooling families that I have had contact with over the past 10 plus years, homeschooling does not look like schooling as it is in the conventional school system. We don't have to set up at home a schoolroom. You don't have to have desks and chairs. You do not have to do school and education and learning and teaching like the model of the conventional school system. Choose instead to focus on what is the means of teaching and learning that is going to best suit the very child in front of you. It has been my experience talking with other home educators over the years that is often us adults that need to let go of some of the habits, some of the mindsets, some of the beliefs that we have about what schooling should look like. Take the time to de-school yourself. If you've had a child that has been in the conventional school system and you are now in a position, because you've received your certificate of exemption, that you are now becoming a home educating family, allow your child the grace and the space to also de-school. Schooling as a home educator is not necessarily going to be spending lots of time doing rote learning, sitting on mats, sitting at desks. Allow your child to de-school also. One of the other points that I would share with you in this video is make the most of your community. One of the things that people who have very little to do with homeschooling and home education often immediately jump to think about is, oh, how are your children socialising? Well, for those of us that are actually homeschooling, most of us, a good proportion of us, will be able to tell you straight up and straight away that socialising is not an issue for our children. And part of the way that that has come about is that we have made the most of our community. Make the most of your community, whether it is your immediate local community through sports groups, hobby and interest groups, whether it is through your local home education, homeschooling group. Make the most of your community. Make the most of the natural resources that are available in your community. It is our community, it is our village experience of interacting with others that helps to teach our children, helps them to learn. So make the most of your community. Another point that I would share with you is accept perfect imperfection. If you're a person who loves to get things done, loves to tick boxes, loves to write lists and tick them off, as part of taking on board your new role as a home educator, you may have to adjust some of your expectations. If you are used to having a perfectly ordered home environment, you may have to adjust your expectations. Accept perfect imperfection. Also with home education, we are stepping away from the experience in the conventional system that children have to achieve certain goals by certain standards of time. And for a lot of our children, that proves to not be what is workable and right for them. If you have a child that has a learning disability, you are truly going to have to adjust your expectations. Instead of the expectation that a child should have mastered reading by this age and spelling by this age and timetables by this age or stage, the beauty of homeschooling is that you can cater, pace, step, your day and weekly, your long and short-term goals according to what is the right fit for the very child in front of you. If you have a child with dyslexia, again, adjust your expectations. For myself, with a child who had dyslexic learning difficulties, I was delighted that as they entered their teenage years, they were able to learn finally to have all those cognitive pathways and those techniques and skills in place that they could finally read a book, a chapter book by themselves. The beauty of homeschooling is that we don't have to live anymore under these benchmark standards with our children. We can choose to cater and pace and space and provide for the child in front of us. Another practical helpful tip that I found most helpful as a home educator is to do meal planning. Being able to do bulk cooking, to have meals aside in the freezer that can be pulled out and defrosted, can be a real blessing, and it's a practical means of taking some of the pressure off of not only being the educator and the mentor and the chief cheerleader, but also the person who often is picking up getting a meal on the dinner table. You might find that for you also it works well to still have people pack lunches. This can be a great way of resolving issues around different people having different dietary requirements, and you're in the middle of helping a child grasp a maths concept and another child is saying, "Hey mum, I want something to eat." It can still be very good to actually pack snack boxes and lunches so that your children have that as a means of being independent. Another important point I would share for somebody looking to homeschool or beginning to homeschool is discuss with your husband, your partner, how you are going to have regular time out. When we are home educating, we can often find that the day has passed, the week has passed, the month has passed, and we have just been travelling on a roller coaster of activity. We're switching from being home educator to meal provider to doing all the housework and household tasks, and we haven't actually allowed ourselves time physically and mentally for time out. This is something I highly recommend that you discuss up front with your husband or partner. You are going to need to have quality time out, time to yourself, not where they are babysitting their children, but where they are parenting their children, and you yourself get to go daily or weekly or monthly to have some quality time out where you can fill your tank again through sport or a hobby or going to the gym or doing whatever helps you to recharge and regroup and also take care of your health and well-being. The second to last point that I would share with you is remember the child in front of you is the child in front of you. When you are home educating, there can sometimes be a tendency with extended family, with all good intentions, to want to check in to see how your child is doing compared to other grandchildren or nieces or nephews, or even friends can prove to be people that try to test the waters to see, is little Johnny or little Jill keeping up with what they deem to be the conventional standards and expectations. Remember, the child in front of you is the child in front of you. Your job as their mentor, their advocate, is to cater and pace their teaching and learning experience to what is the best fit for them. Remember the child in front of you. My final point is this. Remember, when it gets tough and challenging, that this too will pass. This too will pass. As a home educator, there will be times where your child just doesn't seem to be grasping the skill or the technique, or the method, or the concept that you have every intention of them grasping. And that is okay. We can try again tomorrow or again at some point when it is fitting and right. It has been my experience that there are times where you just feel like the child, sometimes the child and you have hit a wall and things are not going the way perhaps you thought they were going. One of the most helpful analogies that I've had as a home educator is to view it a bit like when you are training a young horse. You can bring the horse into the lounge, into the training area. And we do that in a way with our children. We bring them into the experience of training and learning. And that can be 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever is fitting for that child. But then, like training a young horse, it can be most beneficial to open the gate and let the horse run out of the paddock. Have that time back in the field, running loose and free, with no instruction, no specific intentional learning occurring. And it is the same, I have found, when home educating my children. Although there can be times when you think they're not getting their algebra, they're not understanding fractions, or they haven't mastered this particular fine motor skill for their handwriting, or whatever it is. Take time out. Accept that maybe today it hasn't worked, but this too will pass. Things will fall into place in their own right and correct time. And remember, time as a home educator is on your side. Well, I hope the content of this video will be a source of encouragement for those of you that are maybe considering or are beginning homeschooling your children. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing and click the notification bell so you can receive further notification about other videos here at the Household Logistics YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.